So, shall we start?
Yes, yes, Maharaj, we can.
Okay. So, we're here with our last session for Nectar of Instruction, Bhakti Shastri study. And let's see if I can share our screen. Yes, yes. Okay. There we go. And mm, 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 mm. Okay. Well, we've been singing the song Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, which gives a very, very nice, summary of the um, Upadeshamrita. But today, last day here, I was going to look at a different song. You know, one time Prabhupada said, Kirtan, lecture, Kirtan, prasad. He said that's a very, very nice standard program. You start with some kirtan music, and then you have your lecture, and you finish with kirtan, then distribute prasad. Yeah. So starting, and then if we look here at KK, Vedabase.io, okay, and we go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, and of course it's got three parts, Adi Lila, Madhya Lila, and Ancha Lila. So Adi Lila, that's one. Okay, then chapter 7. In chapter 7, Lord Prabhupada printed as a separate little book before he started publishing the main Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's so important. Lord Chaitanya in 5 features. Okay. Then if we go to text number 17, so this is easy to remember. This is 1.7.17. 1717. Okay. And here it's describing the Panchatattva and Gadadhar Pandit. In the purport, then Prabhupada quotes a song. This gradual development of devotional service is described by Sri Narottam Das Thakur as follows. Gauranga Balite Habe. Okay. Now, this was a phrase, the conclusion of this song here. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akriti Kabehama Bhuja Bo Sri Yugala Piriti. This was quoted in the preface. The preface, the very beginning of the preface of Nectar of Instruction. You know, when I become eager to understand the instructions left by the six Goswamis headed by Rupa and Raghunath, then I shall be able to understand the conjugal affairs of Radha and Krishna. Okay, yeah. So that we're talking about in Bhakti by Baba, we're talking about beginning to investigate all these links, you know. And we made this point that Nectar of Instruction is so complete. It's complete in 11 texts, goes from being a Chaitanya Vaishnava in Bengal all the way up to being a confidential associate of Radha and Krishna in Radhakund. Okay. But in the purports, Prabhupada, the Acharyas, the verses that are cited there, again and again and again, they seem to be not just some verse which is relevant to explaining uh, that particular text, but they seem to be the verse that the acharyas use, for this particular concept idea. So if you follow all these citations back to their source, you find fantastic purports, you find a fantastic context where it occurs in the Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita. So then the Nectar of Instruction becomes the next step in studying all of Prabhupada's books. So somebody can respond here. We'll sing the song here a little bit. Goranga balite habe, Stula ka sharir Hari Hari Balite Nayane Babe. Hari Hari Balite Nayane Babe. Hara Kabe Nitai Chand Koruna Karibe Samsara Basana Mora Kabe Tu Chehabe. Bolo. Hara Kabe Nitai Chand Koruna Karibe Samsara Basana Mora Kabe Tu Chehabe. Vishaya Chadiya Kabe Shudahabe Man Kabehama Hera Boshri Brindabana Vishaya Chadiya Kabe Shudahabe Man Kabehama Hera Boshri Brindabana Rupa Raghunatha Pade Oibe Akuti Kabehama Bhuja Shri Yugala Parete Rupa Pade Oibe Akuti Kabehama Bhuja Shri Yugala Parete. Kabe, when? When will there be eruptions on my body as soon as I chant the name of Gauranga, Lord Chaitanya? When will there be incessant tears as soon as I chant the holy names Hare Krishna? When will Lord Nityananda be merciful toward me and free me from all desires for material enjoyment? When will my mind be completely freed from all contaminations of desires for material pleasure? Only at that time will it be possible for me to understand Vrindavana. Only if I become attached to the instructions given by the Goswamis, headed by Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Goswami, will it be possible for me to understand the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. So, this is one of only two songs that we can identify in all of the Bhaktivedanta library, Prabhupada's books, that Prabhupada cites completely. The other song is Narada Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramana Namane. And there's a comment that Prabhupada said that was his favorite song, all about Narada Muni is preaching and traveling all over the world. Okay. Yeah. And that's in the sixth canto when it's describing how Narada Muni uh, convinces all the sons of Daksha to give up material life like that. So such a principal song, one of the two songs completely there, and it's cited right here in Chaitanya Charitamrita 1.7.17. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you follow it, it's from Prarthana, from Narottam Das Thakur's songbook, Prarthana. And it's not just one song in Prarthana, it's the first song, the very first song. Yeah. And it's like a explanation of the whole Prarthana. You know, first off, we come in contact with Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement through devotees or somehow or other. And then we're just going to some festival, hearing them, and our hair stands on end. My goodness. Oh, what is this? This is exciting. Then, if we persist a little bit, then we start to chant Hare Krishna. And not only does our hair stand on end, but we actually start to experience ecstasy. Okay. So, and then it goes back when we need the mercy of Guru, of Nityananda. So, what is the mercy of Nityananda, Guru? We get free from material desires, you know, our vasanas, Sorry, from material desires. We no longer smoking, drinking, like it describes in Nectar of Instruction. And then after that, not only do we become free from this our agitation of our senses, our minds become free. Our vasanas, our desires coming from previous lifetimes, we get free from those. So in that purified state, then we can see Vrindavana. Yeah. But that's not everything. Then next, if we get the mercy of the Manjaris, Rupa and Raghunath, then within Vrindavan, we can understand the confidential pastimes, not of Yashoda and Krishna, not the cowherd boys in Krishna, yeah, but Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna. Yeah. So such a very, very nice song to memorize. We should learn some songs, right? Yeah. And of course we have daily songs. But then one probably says one should select some prayers for his own personal contemplation, meditation. And of course, as we're advancing, maybe we'll develop some different prayers. But this is very, very nice song, and we're kind of introducing it today just to show that this Bhakti Shastri study of Nectar of Instruction is not everything. It's just the beginning. And then next, if we go on with Bhakti Vaibhava, then we can study Nectar of Instruction again. But now we can study looking at these different details. Prabhupada says Bhakti Vaibhava should be the first six cantos of the Bhagavatam and the previous books. Bhakti Vedanta should be the entire Srimad Bhagavatam and the previous books. And Bhakti Sarvabhauma should be Chaitanya Charitamrita and the previous books. Okay. So we'll study Bhagavad Gita and Bhakti Shastri, but we just do it, at a high school level. And then when we start doing Bhakti Vaibhava, maybe what we do is we look at Borijan's Surrender Unto Me, which is a very, very nice, more commentary in depth on the Bhagavad Gita and why things are going like that. So much to understand. And this is not just book knowledge. This is change in character, change in perspective, change in comprehension of what is this world. That's a very means of conquesting, both materially and spiritual. Okay. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Oibe Akuti Kamehama Bujabose Yugala Piriti Rupa Raghunatha Pade Rahumoraj Prartana Koroje Sada Narotamadas. Okay, so here we are. Bhagavad Gita, Vedabase.io. Where are we here? We're at Nectar of Instruction. And today we're doing all the very last verses, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And every single one of these verses, Radhakund is mentioned. Okay, 7 told us Shatnama Krishna Charitade, no, Tanama Rupa Charitade Sitapiya Vidya. If you just chant Hare Krishna, worship the deities, read the Krishna book, then you'll get free from material attachment, and you'll start to become attached to the spiritual world. Okay, in this level, then text number 8, you can actually start to follow the raga of one of the eternal associates of Krishna. And it may be not so intense or whatever in the beginning, but it goes on. We become more purified. We get more direction from the super soul at that level. All within the perspective of the books. Okay. So, and the best where to do this? Well, he says one should live in Vrindavan and execute this. Of course, you can also live in ISKCON. Prabhupada said every corner of all of our temples is Vaikuntha. Yeah. So within our temple, we can find Radhakund. So then it goes ahead and it says, okay, so let's chant this together. Vaikuntha Janitovara Madhupuri Tatrapi Rasotsavad Vrindaranya Mudarapani Ramanat Tatrapi Govardhana Radha Kundam Ihapi Gokulapate Premamrita plavanat Kuryadasya virajito giritate Sevam viveki nakoha. Different meter. Yeah. The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan. Okay, yeah. Because of Krishna's Rasa Lila pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radha Kunda stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radhakunda, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill? Okay. So, where to do Raganuga Bhakti? And it's giving now Vrindavan, and now it's giving a geography of Vrindavan. You know, first there's Mathura Mandala, which is superior to Vaikuntha. You know, and within that are the forests, 12 forests, and especially Vrindavan. You know, Prabhupada says, the spiritual world is three-fourths of the total creation of the Supreme Lord, of Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the most exalted region. The spiritual world is naturally superior to the material world. However, Mathura and the adjoining areas, although appearing in the material world, are considered superior to the spiritual world because the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself appeared at Mathura. The interior forests of Vrindavan are considered superior to Mathura because of the presence of the 12 forests, Dwadash Banan, such as Talaban, Madhavan, Bahulaban, yeah, Lohavan, what else we got? Shrivan, which are famous for the various pastimes of the Lord. Thus, the interior Vrindavan forest is considered superior to Mathura. But superior to these forests is the divine Govardhan Hill, because Krishna lifted Govardhan like an umbrella, raising it with his lotus-like beautiful hand to protect his associates and the denizens of Raja from the torrential rain sent by angry Indra. It is also at Govardhan Hill that Krishna tends his cows with his cowherd friends. And there also he had his rendezvous with his most beloved Sri Radha and engaged in loving pastimes with her. Radhakunda at the foot of Govardhan is superior to all because it is there that love of Krishna overflows, and advanced devotees prefer to reside at Radhakund because this place is a site of many memories of eternal loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, it is stated that when Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first visited the area of Brajabhumi, he could not at first find the location of Radhakunda. This means that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually searching for the exact location of Radhakund. Finally, he found the holy spot. There was a small pond there. Okay. He took his bath in that small pond and told his devotees that the actual Radhakund was situated there. Now, this is a very subtle point because in Spanish, when they translate it, it says, and he told his devotees that that was the actual Radhakund. Yeah, okay. He was there in a Aritagram, which is means Aristasura, because Radhakund was created when after Krishna killed Aristasura. And so then he asked one old man, he said, this is where Krishna killed the Arista demon. And Afterwards, he bathed and this and that. Are there any very special kundas here that people venerate? And so the old man pointed out in the rice fields, and there were a couple places where the land was a little bit lower, and because of that, water was coming up from underground a little bit, two places. And the old man says, "Well, I don't know, but some people call these two little places Shama and Gori." And so then Lord Chaitanya, looking with transcendental vision, could see that the original Radha Kund, where does it go? The actual Radha Kund was situated there. So right from the very beginning, it's not that these little ponds are Radha Kund, yeah, and we'll see Prabhupada repeats this later on. Later, the pond was excavated by Lord Chaitanya's devotees, headed first by the six Goswamis, such as Rupa and Raghunath. Presently, there is a large lake known as Radhakund. Yeah. So again, if somebody wants to buy some some uh, rare music, you know, rare music, some folk music. So he goes to some town, and somebody said, he asked, where is there a very good complete music store with folk music and these things? Yeah, the person says, yeah, um, it's situated at the northeast corner of Fifth Street and A Street. Okay, so yeah, that's the music store, but you have to go inside. Yeah, yeah. Prabodhananda Saraswati describes Radha Kund. Again, the shores, the sand is made of diamonds and emeralds and pearls, little fine things like that, all from most richest jewels. The clouds are beautiful, pink, and the sky is a marvelous blue color. There's no, terrible air pollution, horrible air quality index. And in the Kunda, there are beautiful swans swimming. Okay. And each of the eight different directions, each saki has a different kunja, for Radha and Krishna to enjoy and play and rest. Yeah. So what we're seeing is the Boma Lila, the earthly manifestation at the end of Kali Yuga for us. So still, it's extremely significant, but it puts us in the right place. It puts us where we're near there. And if you go there, go there. I admire you. Well, Bijay, can you close your microphone? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you go there in your body, your spiritual body, from chanting Hare Krishna and Mangala Arati and chanting your rounds and everything else, then yeah, every now and again you may resonate with very incredible things. Okay, okay. Presently there is. Okay. Rupa Goswami has given much stress to Radhakund because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired to find it. Who then would give up Radhakund and try to reside anywhere else? Prabodhananda Saraswati and his Vrindavan Dham Mahimamrita, who is uh, Tungavidya Gopi of the eight principal gopis, and Radha Krishna Lila, he's Prabodhananda Saraswati and Gaura Lila. He says, once you've tasted the beauty of Vrindavan Dham, if you want to go to any other place, and even any other place of pilgrimage, he says, you are like somebody who is knowingly rejecting Mahaprasadam to eat the excrement of a dog. So she is a fanatic about Vrindavan. Okay. No person with transcendental intelligence would give it up. The importance of Radhakund, however, cannot be realized by other Vaishnava sampradayas. Nor can persons uninterested in the devotional service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understand the spiritual importance and divine nature of Radhakund. Thus, Radhakund is mainly worshipped by Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the followers of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if you're doing the Govardhan Parikrama, you go to Govinda Kund, Surabhi Kund, so many places, Uddhava Kund. And then many people, they're doing this. Many people do this, not now do the parikrama. Yeah? And and so when you go through Radhakund, it also is Radhakund. But unless you're following the Gaudiya Sampradaya, you can't understand this from Pushtimar, you can't understand this from, so many different perspectives. Then you can appreciate Radhakund. So that's text number 10, geography, number 9. Then 10, we go back to association. Yeah. We have association, we have the process, and we have the places. And that's Krishna consciousness. Okay, let's all chant number 10. Karme byach harito harahe priyataya vyaktim yagur jnaninas tebyo gyani vimukta bhakti paramach premaika nistas tatach tevyastach pasupala pankaja drishash tabio pisaradiko prashta tadvadyam tadiya sarasi tam nashraya kakritahi. In the Shastras, it is said that of all types of fruity workers, karmis, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, jnanis, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge, a vimukti jnani, may take to devotional service. He may become a bhakta. Okay? He is superior to others. However, one who has actually attained prema, a prema bhakta, pure love of Krishna is superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced prema bhaktas, advanced devotees, because they are always totally dependent upon Sri Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. Okay, that's all hierarchy of who? People. Now, where? Her Kunda lake, okay, as we discussed in the previous verse, is as profoundly dear to Lord Sri Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis. Who then will not reside at Radha Kund and in a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, aprakrita bhava, render loving service to the divine couple, Sri Radha Govinda, who perform their Astakaliya Lila, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radha Kund are the most fortunate people in the universe. Okay. So it's a fantastic purport. Again, it's such a wonderful book. Okay. The in the it starts off here again with karmis. Karmibhya parito hare priyataya. Karmibhya parito hare priyaya. Vyaktim jajur gyaninas. Okay. So I'm still trying to learn these in more detail. Fruity workers. Karmi is somebody who wants some result for what they do. They want some personal result. Okay. And Prabhupada in the purport in the beginning, you notice he expands it to vikarmis. He gives a perspective that this is the material world. My goodness, this is what people are here for. They want something separately. They don't want to give everything to Krishna. They want to take everything for themselves. So vikarmis are people who will do any old damn thing to get what they want. Okay. But then karmis are people who actually follow some kind of rules and regulations given by the acharyas. Okay. So we have, of course, the Prophet Muhammad, may his name be blessed. And he gives very, very specific instructions as an acharya to his followers. You should go to Mecca. You should say your prayers. What is it, 5 times a day, 6 times a day? Yes. What else? You should give charity. He gives very, very many things and for people. And yes, okay, and you'll get these results. So it says karma biya parito hare. the karmis are dear to Krishna. You know? In the Bible, it says a young man came to Jesus Christ and he said, Master, you're such an empowered person, everything else. I've followed all the regulations of being a Jew. I've given charity. I've done all these things. Yeah. And now what should I do? What else is left to be done? And Jesus said, you should take all of your wealth and give it away and follow me. And the young man walked away with a long face, depressed, because he was very, very wealthy. You know? And so it says that Jesus loved him. He was such a good person. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, he was a karmi still. So Jesus loved him, and he said, Verily I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. He said, but by the mercy of God, all things are possible. Okay, everybody wants to associate with the opposite sex. Probably says every young boy when he grows up starts, being attracted by the arched eyebrows of the little girls in his school class, and they're all start to becoming attracted by the broad shoulders of the boys in their classes, and yeah, it's just that's the material world. Bulls are attracted to cows. Ducks are what is it? Roosters are attached to hens. Stallions are attracted to mares. Yeah, it's just everywhere. This is the reflection of the spiritual world. Okay, but if you just do this without, the V karma, you'll never figure out what's going on. You'll still be entangled, manipulated by this, controlled by this at 80 years old. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But if you follow the rules and regulations of karma given by Muhammad, Jesus Christ, Confucius, who else we got? Socrates. Yeah. Then you'll begin to understand what is this attraction. You know, you'll start to develop wisdom. Oh, okay, there is something here, but it's like this, and it's not like that. That I'm not actually the enjoyer of my partner. You know, that I am actually meant to serve them and Radha and Krishna or God. Yeah. So you go from becoming a karmi to becoming a jnani by following karma properly. Wise person. Of course, Devahuti and Cardamom Muni is a very nice example of this. Yeah. Okay. And then if you do this enough and you develop your wisdom, then you become completely liberated. You know? And in the purport, Prabhupada will quote, Bahunam Jamana Mante Gyanavam Mam Prapajante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabaha. Yeah. A million times that's quoted. After many births, Bahunam Jamanam Ante Gyanavan, somebody who possesses Jnana, Gyanavan Mam, Prapajante, they'll surrender to me. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. They realize that God is everywhere. He's the cause of everything. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabaha. Very rare to find somebody. Yeah. So yeah, you surrender to Krishna, you become a devotee. Yeah. Okay, then you become a devotee. Well, then there's all kinds of devotees, sadhana bhaktas, bhava bhaktas, prema bhaktas, and then Vaikuntha bhaktas. But the Braja bhaktas are above even the devotees in Dwarka. Even above Satyabhama and Rukmini and everybody there, Uddhava. Okay, but amongst the Braja bhaktas, the gopis are they're the most advanced. And among them, Radha is just a fanatic. Yeah. Krishna goes for walking in the morning. Maybe he's going to the cow sheds, with his friends to start his daily work. And as he's walking along with his friends, in the morning, fresh air, all the gopis are looking at him and, just breathing heavily and, everything. And Krishna knows. This is not a surprise some way to Krishna because look, he knows I'm handsome. I'm very good at sports. I have lots of nice friends. My father's rich. Okay. So of course all the girls should love me. But Radha, she just starts having hiccups and everything else. And when she sees Krishna, And so even Krishna can't figure this out. My God, I know I'm attractive, but this is crazy. So he asks her friends, Lalita and Vishaka, what is this? And of course, what are they? They're 12 years old, 13 years old, maybe. This not even really adults yet, but a little bit more than children. What is this? What is this about Radha? So Lalita and Vishaka, they say, well, hey, look, it's very difficult to explain to guys how girls think and how they feel. So come here, let's go off someplace where we can talk about this confidentially. So that confidential place in Vrindavan is Navadweep, Mayapur. Yeah, Mayapur is this confidential part of Vrindavan. Okay. And there, Lalita becomes Sarup Damodar. What's her name? Vishaka becomes Ramananda Roy. And of course, then Lord Krishna is trying to imitate Radha and trying to get her into her feelings. And of course, it's funny to some degree because here this boy is trying to act like a girl. Okay. But yeah, he's trying to steal Radharani's bhava, her bhava. And so then Gadadhar is Radha with her bhava stolen. Yeah, just you can't act like Radha when Krishna is trying to carry on like this. So it's funny in some respect. And is Krishna successful or not? Well, join us in the Bhakti Bhava studies and we'll find out if Krishna is able to understand her mood or not. Okay. Okay. Then it hops back to the place in Radha Kund. Radha Kund is just as dear to Krishna as is Radha. Okay. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetrajnakya Tata Para Avidya Karma Samjnanya Tritya Shakti Ishite. Let me see if I can do it with my eyes closed now. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetrajnakya Tata Para Avidya Karma Samjnana Tritya Shakti Ishite. Okay. Vishnu Puran 6761. That sounds like an easy number to remember. 6, 6, and 1 is 7. Okay. Yeah. And again, you'll find this cited again and again. And then this verse from the Vishnu Purana says that there are three energies: the spiritual, marginal, and material energy. Okay. And the material energy is the third class energy. And that's where everybody is a karmi. Everybody wants something for themselves. Everybody is approaching you as a friend, as a lover, as a servant, because they want something from you. Okay. And then Prabhupada goes on to expand this and saying, yeah, this means, birth and death and all these kinds of things. Yeah. Yeah. But somebody who actually follows these rules and regulations properly, then they begin to understand, yeyatam mam prapachante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. Then they begin to understand, okay, that 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 Krishna is the cause of all causes, and the real thing is to associate with him. Yeah. Yeah. Until that time, 554. And again, these are essential verses. Nunam pramata kurute vikarma yadindriya pritaya apranoti nasarumanye yato atmano yam asat apikleshada asadehe. So again, easy to remember because the next verse is 555. And this is the beginning of Rishabh Dev's instructions to his sons. Yeah. Yeah. And it's saying that the sages just think these people are crazy. They're working hard like dogs and hogs, to get sense gratification, but it's nothing going to satisfy them. Painted fruits do not satisfy hunger. So that's all they're getting. Some superficial, temporary reflection of happiness. So sages think that they are, what is it, pramata, crazy, mad. Yeah. So then Prabhupada paraphrases after that 555 right here. Okay. One should be eager, therefore, to understand the science of the soul, Atma Tattva. Okay. And out of many, many thousands of people, even ignorant people, who are wasting their time in sense gratification, one may become a jnani. Okay. And they're superior to the others. Thus, a jnani is considered superior to a karmi. Because he at least refrains from the blind activities of sense gratification. got some wisdom. And all over the world, again, there are examples of Gyanis. Confucius in China. Confucius synthesized all the previous wisdom in China and came up with his ideas of what is right, what is the superior man, what is society. And of course, very much he was promoting that people should follow the civilized responsibilities of the Varna ashram system. You know, in Chinese culture, there is a hell. You know, there is a Yamaraj. He has that name. Yeah. And so in many ways, then maybe you know this, that Chinese culture, there is feng shui, just as we have Vastu. And Krishna and Arjuna, they were involved with China and Chinese people. So very much connected to the Vedic culture, uh, very much their heritage. So then Confucius, he came along and he synthesized everything, and he gave wisdom and how to live properly, so you can become a superior person and develop wisdom. Okay. Before I guess maybe before Confucius, somebody microphone open. Yeah. Okay. Um, there are three major philosophies in China: Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucian. Okay. And then the great Tiang emperor sent the monk Tripikata to the west, to India, to get higher knowledge because they had karma kanda. Okay, you've done this and you've got this bad reaction. Okay, you should do this activity. Of course, this is Nectar of Instruction 1. You know, do this activity, counteract it. Offer this in the fire, burn this. Okay. And then you want to go to the higher planets, do this, do this, do this. So they had a karma kanda. And again, it's a reflection. They have dragons, which are nagas. So many things, paralleling, following the Vedic culture in India. So Tripikata, the monk, he went west, yeah. In Europe and America, people will go east, yeah, because India is right in the middle. Yeah. And then he met the Buddha, and from the Buddha, he got Jnanakanda, how to get out of this material world altogether. So it's good. These wisdom things are good. They teach you how to be a karmi rather than a vikarmi. Confucius says, if you go for revenge, better to dig two graves first. Oh, aso Buddha. We understand. Yeah, better to forgive. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the king is, the representative of God, and he should act like that. And then the father and mother are venerable. As I understand, the greatest sin you can create in Confucius's idea of the world is to not take care of your parents, your father and mother. So very, very wonderful thing. What do you call it? Paralleling the Varna ashram scriptures. Oh yes. Oh my God. Just see. Okay. Yeah. Somebody got them. Okay. Working from home. Yeah. Yeah. There's one cartoon picture, and it shows a lady holding her cell phone by her shoulder and shoving her laundry into the what do you call it? Into the washing machine, and it says working from home. Okay, so st- studying Bhakti Shastri from home. Okay, while I'm doing my laundry. Okay. That's a Jnani. Okay, yeah. So good, our good friend Confucius. Yeah, yeah. And there's an interesting thing because Confucius, he wasn't successful. He was an Acharya. He synthesized all the previous knowledge, uh, and you didn't have to go beyond him, just like Prabhupada's an Acharya, because we don't have to go beyond him. He's given us everything else. I am not an Acharya. Oh, Maharaj, you are as good as Prabhupada. Hey, no, yeah, no. I'm not synthesizing all the previous works of all the Acharyas. Many different things you have to do to become a samstapaka Acharya, a founder Acharya, and that's one of them. So Confucius, he did this. He gave a system. but they all the different karmis, just as Prabhupada said, they were trying to keep people from taking to these things, to taking these things up. You know? And so he died thinking that he was a failure. He had some followers, they were moving around here and there. His greatest disciple died at 38 years old from some fever. So he was thinking his whole life was a failure. But in the end, he is, you might say, one of the five. Well, who do we have? Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Confucius, and Buddha. Yeah, one of the most powerful and influential people. And then along came Mao Zedong and trying to eliminate everything and introduce, Karl Marx's ideas or something, and you know, and eliminating everybody. Even Confucius' ideas were eliminated. He didn't eliminate Sun Wukong monkey. He made him into a communist monkey. Yeah. But now, as we understand, the Confucius ideas are coming back. They work, and his systems in the towns and the villages, people starting to have Confucian centers for reformation. These things. And the Communist Party has officially declared that the Confucius' ideas are not contrary to communist philosophy. They're saying you should follow the king. Okay, yeah. Okay. And then in Greek tradition, there's Marcus Aurelius and so many nice gyanis. And we appreciate, okay, this is where these people are at. They're actually developing gyanis. And should we try and tell them to give this up and become bhaktas? Well, in some cases, no. they, they can't take to it right away. And what's going to happen is that they're going to give up their karma, which are their jnana, and try and become bhaktas, and then fall down and become bestial. Carl Jung warns about this. Other people. So preaching the intimate glories of the Lord to the faithless. We should explain things that people are capable of understanding. We should chant Hare Krishna, and some people are just attracted by the beauty and the melody, and the food is nice. Okay, Prabhupada said, who will not go where there is good food and good music? Yeah. Okay, and that's all they're capable of. Maybe you've actually experienced this in preaching to your family members and other people, that these people are sincere, but that's just their level. So let them become friends, let them become integrated with our society as members. And then after 2-3 years, okay, they may suddenly, wow, yeah, that's what happens. Okay, then going on beyond the Gyanis, one becomes a devotee, Bahunam Jamanam Ante. After taking the devotional service under the regulative principles, what is this called? Sadhana Bhakti. Okay, yes, you're right. A person may come to the platform of spontaneous love of God. And what is this called? Raganuga Bhakti. Yes, Monosito. Following in the footsteps of great devotees like Narada and Sanak and Sanatana, the Supreme Personality recognizes them to be superior. The devotees who have developed love of God, prema, are certainly in an exalted position. Of all these devotees, the gopis are recognized as superior because they do not know anything other than satisfying Krishna. Nor do the gopis expect any return from Krishna. Yeah? Yeah, they don't. Nothing. Okay. Indeed, sometimes Krishna puts them into extreme suffering by separating himself from them. Nonetheless, they cannot forget Krishna. When Krishna left Vrindavan for Mathura, the gopis became most dejected and spent the rest of their lives simply crying in separation from Krishna. So before Rupa Goswami met Lord Chaitanya and was initiated into his philosophy and culture, he was already a devotee, as we understand, and he wrote what is it called, the Hamsa Gita. Hamsa Gita, I think it's called. Yeah, yeah. Um, and it's all a story about, I think what it is, that there are swans, Hamsa, coming uh, through Vrindavan on their way to Mathura. And somehow or other, the gopis and so on are telling them, please take our feelings on to Krishna. He's been gone for a long time. So some very, very nice poetry, you know. And Oh yeah, in the end there, I think it's yeah, there. That's there. It's describing that Krishna is in Dwarka. I guess he's in Mathura at this time. Yeah, his pastime city, and it's a beautiful city with marble and all this opulence and gold and wonderful things. And it's all covered with a canopy of beautiful shady trees. And then Uddhava comes in, and Krishna says, I want to send you because I haven't been able to go back to Vrindavan. I was just coming to kill Kamsa, and then I told everybody I would be right back. But then my mother Devaki and everybody said, "Oh, now you have to stay with us. You are our real child." And we just have been crying and hiding our tears, you know, because we knew you were alive, but we had to pretend that you were dead. So for so many years, what it is, 11 years or something, 11 years, we had to hide our tears and these things like that. And we're your actual biological family. We know that the Brijbasis are so wonderful, and they are our friends, they're our relations, our cousins and stuff, and they took care of you, like nobody could, and we love them like anything. But now you should come, and okay, now you can have your real opulence, gold, jewels, marbles, silk, these kind of things, you know. Uh, and in Vrindavan, we know there are flowers and these kind of things, but this is your real life, okay. And so Krishna is kind of trapped in Dwarka. He can't go back, you know. So he tells Uddhava, you have to go and, deliver some kind of message to them about what's happening, you know. And he said, this is how you get there. And he said, when I left, they're just drowning in the ocean of separation. He said, when I left Vrindavan, everybody was dying. He said, the grass is burning up. The grass is burning up. It's the grass in separation from me. He said the only thing that is keeping the grass alive is that it's drowning in the tears of the gopis, like that. So he's describing this very incredible scene, like that and stuff. But when Uddhava, was your understanding, starts telling Krishna, "Oh Krishna, this shouldn't be going on. I will go there. You send me as your representative, and I will teach them all Brahma Gyan. I will teach them that you are the Paramatma." And there's line if they sit down and do breathing exercises, and and meditate, they will realize that you are everywhere, and that you are connected to them and you are one with them, and they won't feel separation. I'm very strong in my Brahma Gyan. I know you. I know who you are. Yeah. And then Krishna is kind of smiling in the movie. He says, "Well," I said, "I don't know. I'm maybe a little worried because even when I'm there, I become confused about my position. I wonder if I am the Paramatma. Maybe I am a cowherd boy." So Uddhava says, "Oh, don't worry. I'm strong in my Brahma Gyan." And Krishna's kind of smiling. Very nice Hindi movie. Very nice young boys playing Krishna and Uddhava. Very nice. And then Krishna comes to these actors. Prabhupada said that. So anyway, in the movie, Uddhava goes there and he says, "I have a message for you gopis from Krishna." He pulls the paper out and the gopis just grab it and tear it all into pieces, knock Uddhava over, and his hat falls off. He says, "What are you doing? You can't read it when you tear it into pieces." And they say, "We can't read." Cowherd girls. Well, then why he's taking the letter back from him and trying to reassemble it? Why on earth are you tearing this letter up? They say, because this was touched by Krishna this day with his hand. He said, "Oh, okay." Yeah. So he's trying to explain Brahma Gyan to the gopis, and they just can't quite catch it. And finally, they say, "Oh, Uddhava, this sounds something like being dead or something, Maybe our leader, Radha, she can understand this." So they take Uddhava to Radha, and she's down by the blue Jamuna, throwing golden flowers into the Jamuna, yeah, chanting something about Krishna. And this totally got lost. The gopis bring Uddhava, and they say, "Radha, Radha, there's a boy here. He's come as a messenger from Krishna." So Radha turns to Uddhava and says, "Is he coming back?" It's so intense. Even the very good thing in the actors and actresses, and Uddhava is just like shocked. He's realizing if I say he's not coming back today, she's just going to drop dead right in front of me.
बस यही सारा
So
सारी दिक्कत यहीं से आ रही कि तुम नहीं
okay,
सिखा रहे
ISKCON DIHE,
सिखा रहे
please
तो फिर
close your
ठीक है
microphone. ISKCON DIHE. Yeah. So, so he said, yeah, he's coming. Okay. So in the end of the movie, Uddhava was going
हाँ
back. Oh my God. Uddhava was going back to see Krishna, and he's just chanting Jai Radhe, and totally collapsed.
वही ना,
Okay.
बहुत ज्यादा हो जाए, मैं क्या करूँ, यही करता रहूँ
Come
सिर्फ
on,
बैठ के।
Prasad, co-host. Can you close your microphone?
आगे बढ़ ही नहीं रहे हम, आगे बढ़ ही नहीं रहे ना।
Okay, there we got it. Okay, yeah. So this is the situation. Where were we here? Okay, yeah. When Krishna left Vrindavan for Mathura, the gopis became most dejected and spent the rest of their lives simply crying in separation from Krishna. This means that in one sense they were never actually separated from Krishna. So there's a lot more to discuss about this. And as we're becoming purified and trying to understand what is the goal of what we're doing, how we should be chanting, why we should be chanting, how we should worship the deity, how we should go out and help other people, then it'll become more clear. So we'll get that in Bhakti Sarvabhauma or whatever. There is no difference between thinking of Krishna and associating with him. Whether Vipralambha Seva, thinking of Krishna in separation, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is far better than serving Krishna directly. Thus, all the devotees who have developed unalloyed love for Krishna, the gopis are most exalted, and out of all of these exalted gopis, Srimati Radharani is the highest. No one can excel the devotional service of Srimati Radharani. Indeed, even Krishna cannot understand the attitude of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, he took her position and appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just to try to understand her feelings. In this way, Rupa Goswami gradually concludes that Radhakund is the most exalted devotee of Srimati Radharani, most exalted devotee of Krishna, and her Kunda, lake Sri Radhakund, is the most exalted place. This is verified in a quotation from Lagu Bhagavatamrita Uttarakhanda 45, as quoted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And again, this is quoted many times. So here, it's not just in our, in the, it's from Lagu Bhagavatamrita, Vishnu Puran that's quoted. Let's see if I can get it with my eyes closed. Yata Radha Priya Vishnos, I can't. Tasya Kundam Priya Tata, Sarva Gopisha Saivaika, Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha. Okay. Therefore, everyone interested in Krishna consciousness should ultimately take shelter of Radhakund and execute devotional service throughout one's life, their life. This is the conclusion of Rupa Goswami in the 10th verse of Upadeshamrita. Okay, and now one more verse. Yeah. You know why? So again, let's all chant together. Krishna Saochai Pranaya Vasati Preyasibhyopi Radha Kundam Chasya Munibira Bitastadrid Tadrig Eva Vyadai Yap Prestaira Pialam Asulabam Kim Punar Bhakti Bhajam Tapremidam Sakrilapi Surasnatur Aviskaroti. Of the many objects of favored delight, objects, places, and of all the lovable damsels of Brajabhumi people, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love. Okay. And in every respect, her divine Kunda is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radha Kund is very rarely achieved even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain it. If one simply bathes once in those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused. So people in our class here, they may have bathed in Radha Kund. Was you fully aroused, your love? Well, no, because you weren't bathing in those holy waters. You were looking at the sign over the music store which says music, and you're thinking, oh, that's music. I'll take this sign back to the jungle. I have music. Or have a CD. I have music. Yeah, I'm touching it. No. Yeah. It has significance. You're close. Act properly. You But if you're bathing get a chance to bathe in the real Radhakund, which is situated there. Yeah, then wham, your pure love of Krishna is fully aroused. And we're thinking, well, maybe that means it's like Hanuman. Maybe Hanuman takes some water from Radhakund and doesn't put his body in Radhakund and pours it over his head, and his bhava and serving Sita and Ram, and Lakshman, and saving all these things. That's fully aroused. But but what is it? He knows that. Then he knows that, yeah, that Sita and Ram, they come out, and every morning people can see them in Ayodhya, and they go through all these pastimes to save everybody, by defeating Ravana. But they have confidential pastimes that are so wonderful. My Lord and Lady are so wonderful, but he doesn't want to enter into those directly. Well, he wants to enhance his service. So this is Ramananda Roy. What is the highest service? He said the highest service is your service. From a neutral position, you can see Vaidhi Bhakti, what do you call it? Uh, Shanta Ras, Dasya Ras, Sakya Ras, Vasalya Ras, Madhurya Ras, more intense, higher. But he said that's from a neutral position. And nobody's in a neutral position in Vrindavan. So the best position is your position. And Hanuman can relish Radha Kund from his position much better than other people who are trying to relish it from not from their position. Maybe trying to be a gopi, trying to dress up and do this and that. Well, some devotees, when this came out, they decided, okay, I'm going to go live on the banks of Radhakund. Yeah, but then they were doing some different illicit activities. Yeah, those things are available there on a superficial platform. Yeah, Papa's talking about the so-called Babajis. They're singing the Gopinath Bhajan. And with one hand playing the harmonium, with the other hand they're smoking a bidi. Yeah, cigarette. Yeah. So he talks about all these illicit activities that were going on in Radhakund. But because Prabhupada has come, they're gone now because they can't show up anymore. So we're helping Prabhupada save everybody in Vrindavan from these demons who are coming. And we're thinking that in the current time, Keshi has come as motorcycles, and Aristasura has come as tractors. And we have to save people, the Bisvasis, with Prabhupada, by helping Prabhupada save them from these terrible things that are capturing them. So very rarely achieved. So bathing in Radhakund, okay. Devotees were bathing in Radhakund. Then they started doing water sports and playing volleyball, tossing volleyball. They call it volleyballs in the water and drowning each other and splashing and all this stuff, turning it into like a recreational bathing facility. Yeah, yeah. And Prabhupada heard this and was upset. He said, when you're doing illicit activities on the shores of Radhakund, you're not living in Radhakund, you're living in Narakakund, the lakes of hell. He said, when you're kicking Radhakund with your body for your enjoyment, you're kicking Radharani. Yeah, oh my goodness, okay. Do not bathe in Radhakund again. Oh, my spiritual master, he said, only took drops of water and put it on his head, or just a load of, and put it on his head. So then devotees, as you understand the story, this is a controversial item in ISKCON. Can we bathe there or not? The Prabhupada later on said, all right, you can bathe in Radhakund, but you must do it with full respect. So one way is just to put some drops, pay your obeisances, say your prayers, take some drops of water and put it on your head. Another way is to sit down and just take a lota of water and pour it over your head. And then sometimes, dipping in completely and just try and have the most respectful attitude you can. In Srup Damodar, my sannyas guru, many Manipuris traditionally have been situated in Radhakund, around there. And so he took over one temple, which belonged to the king of Manipur, and for many, many, many years, Mani Mandir. It's right on Radhakund when you come around past that first entrance, the big entrance with the arch. It's on the left-hand side, and Maharaj's samadhi is in the back courtyard. So very nice, ISKCON Center. Then back inside a couple rows, there's a place where was a samadhi of, I think it was Narottam, or Vishwanath Chakravarti. And he also took charge of that and cleaned it all up and put it together. And now it's a nice guest house with a very famous well. You know? So we have ISKCON. Many different ISKCON devotees are living near there and different things like that, or in Vrindavan. And yeah, Loka Suranga, one of my friends, he left his body in an auto accident. We were brahmacharis together, but very advanced person, very pure, very in the very beginning. So after doing a lot of book distribution, he moved to Radhakund. And I would see him sometime when I was walking around, we would talk. And he said he actually had moved out after a few years, just a little bit farther down the parikrama path about Govardhan. And every day he would come to Radhakund. But he said that was more comfortable because he said really living in Radhakund was just too high of a standard for him. He was a very purified person. So a little bit away, get your distance. But yeah, Radhakund, maybe we come and bring flowers from Vrindavan, from Raman Reti, and we sell them to the Malawalis, ladies that are making garlands there. We talk about what's happening with Krishna and these things, but we don't stay there. We go back to Raman Reti. So even within Vrindavan, there's so many different places you can appreciate, and depending upon it, maybe not this lifetime, maybe this lifetime, or maybe next lifetime. But this is what's such an opportunity. Varaha comes, Ram comes, what was it called? What is his name? Yeah, Dhanvantari, I know. Dattatreya comes, and they all give different opportunities. But Lord Chaitanya, Namo Mahabharata and Nyaya, he's giving something which is so rare, such an opportunity. So don't miss this movement. It may be some time before it comes your way again. Take advantage, okay? And understand that the Radhakund is the ultimate thing, And maybe we can see it from a distance. We can help it. One Manipuri lady, she was a princess. I think she was maybe about like 25 years old or something. So she was telling some of our ISKCON devotees that, no, she was like 35 years old. She was a princess from Manipur. And she was saying that when she was younger, maybe like about 15, 16, 17, maybe 15, maybe 16 years old, that her family used to go, from Manipur down to Radhakund. And they were staying actually in that actual temple that Maharaj took over. And I think she was pointing out the courtyard. And Manipuris, they take some fish, like Bengalis, But especially in Vrindavan and stuff, it's kind of like considered like to be a little bit of a low-class habit. So she wasn't being public about it. So her serving servants, the family servants, they were cooking rice with some fish in it, And so she sat down in the courtyard to eat her rice and fish. And one of the monkeys from Radhakund jumped down off the wall, the female monkey, and she grabbed a handful of it, stole a handful of this and hopped up on the wall and started eating it. But then she had this very, very disgusted look on her face and threw it out of her hand and spit it out of her mouth and looked down at her like, oh my goodness, you disgusting beast, what are you eating? Like that. And then she jumped off the wall. And this little Manipuri princess looked up over the wall, and the monkey had gone right down to Radhakund and was washing her mouth out and spitting out stuff out of her mouth. And she looked back up at her, the monkey did, and looked so disgusted. What a beast you are. Like that. So this princess, many years later, she's saying at that point, she began to think, my God, even the monkeys think I'm a low-class person, lower than a monkey. So she said at that point she never ate fish ever again. Prabodhananda Saraswati says, I know many great Shastras. I know many great scholars and saintly devotees. But he said, as far as I'm concerned, there is no teacher like Vrindavan Dham. Vrindavan Dham ki jai, ISKCON ki jai. Okay, let's go ahead here. Why is Radhakund so exalted? The lake is so exalted because it belongs to Srimati Radharani, who is the most beloved object of Sri Krishna. Among all the gopis, she is the most beloved. Similarly, her lake, Sri Radhakunda, is also described by great sages as as the lake that is as dear to Krishna as Radha herself. Indeed, Krishna's love for Radhakund and Srimati Radharani is the same in all respects. Radhakund is very rarely attained, even by great personalities fully engaged in devotional service, not to speak of ordinary devotees who are only engaged in the practice of Vaidhi Bhakti. It is stated that a devotee will at once develop pure love of Krishna in the wake of the gopis if he once takes bath in Radhakund. Now, again, this is the transcendental Radhakund for full effect. Yeah. And the one we see, depending on our level, has effect. Sri Rupa Goswami recommends that even if one cannot live permanently on the banks of Radhakund, he should at least take a bath in the lake as many times as possible. This is the most important item in the execution of devotional service. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in this connection that Sri Radhakunda is the most selected place for those, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, okay, for those interested in advancing their devotional service in the wake of the lady friends, Sakis, and confidential serving maids, Manjaris, of Srimati Radharani. Living entities who are eager to return home to the transcendental kingdom of God, Goloka Vrindavan, by means of attaining their spiritual bodies, Siddha Deha, should live at Radhakund, take shelter of the confidential serving maids of Sri Radha, and under their direction engage constantly in her service. Yeah. This is the most exalted method for those engaged in devotional service under the protection of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this connection, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati writes, so we have Prabhupada's commentary, Bhaktivinoda commentary, and now Bhakti Siddhanta, that even great sages and devotees like Narada and Sanaka do not get an opportunity to come to Radhakund to take their baths. What then to speak of ordinary devotees? If by great fortune one gets an opportunity to come to Radhakund and bathe even once, he can develop his transcendental love for Krishna, exactly as the gopis did. It is also recommended that one should live on the banks of Radhakund and should be absorbed in the loving service of the Lord. One should bathe there regularly and, giving up all material conceptions, take shelter of Sri Radha and her assistant gopis. If one is thus constantly engaged during his lifetime, after giving up the body, he will return back to Godhead to serve Sri Radha in the same way as he contemplated during his life on the banks of Radhakund. The conclusion is that to live on the banks of Radhakund and to bathe there daily constitutes the highest perfection of devotional service. It is a difficult position to attain, even for great sages and devotees like Narada. Thus, there is no limit to the glory of Sri Radhakund. And by serving Radhakund, one can get an opportunity to become an assistant of Srimati Radharani, under the eternal guidance of the gopis. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, koi prashna hai? In the chat, we have 5 items in the chat. Okay. And Netik, do we repeat? See, usually this is a very good point. Many times we're using these teleconferencing services, and if you try to do it like when we're in a live audience, somebody chants and then everybody responds. What happens is that the teleconferencing service sometimes becomes overloaded, and different people have different response times depending on how far they are away, and so it becomes a big mess. So what we're doing is that one person will chant, and then somebody will be the chief guest, and then they will respond. And everybody else, you just keep your microphone closed. And in your ashram, you respond, okay, with your microphone closed. Okay. And that's a pretty good system. Of course, being physically present with the speaker is a better system. Yeah. Okay. And then Pratijalparada says, Pam ho, Gurudev and devotees, Agatspa, please. What is the name of the movie that Gurudev speaks about? Thank you very much. I don't know the name of the movie. I was someplace and somebody was playing it, and and it was such a very nice. It was a Hindi movie, you know. And again, it was done very well. You can see the people they were devotees, and you maybe and someone playing Krishna and someone playing Rudava, as you know, young boys. You see, they were about in their 20s, maybe, yeah, yeah. Um, but you could tell they were good boys, you know, very nice character and young men, yeah, yeah. And so one time Prabhupada went to a what do you call it, the thing in Vrindavan where the boys and girls are trained, they dress up, and they act out Krishna, Radha Krishna pastimes. That was it's called. You know? They do it in Vrindavan. It's a popular thing, and they're trained. You know, and there are different qualities of how it's done. So Prabhupada went there one time with some devotees, and ISKCON devotees. Then afterwards, the actors and the actresses they pose as Radha and Krishna. They stand there, and some bhajans going on. All the people in the audience come up and bow down to them and put money at their feet. Okay, so devotees were thinking this is a little bit of a sahaja activity, but to their surprise, Prabhupada got up and he went up in front of Radha and Krishna and put a donation and the Dandavats in front of the little boy and girl dressed up as yatra party, dressed up as Radha and Krishna. So the devotees were inquiring about this and this and that. And then Prabhupada said, uh, whether it's made out of clay or marble or brass, the form is Radha and Krishna. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And especially when the actors are internally with their minds understanding this and trying to communicate Radha and Krishna, then yeah, they're there and they're venerable. You know. Mm. So this was, I don't remember the name of the movie. It was a very good movie. It is said that we can't enter into Vrindavan without the mercy of Radharani. So how the person who, okay, something's caught here, non-vegetarian, don't follow regular principle, get chance to go to Vrindavan. Okay. Bhakti Vinod Thakur says you can be in the Dham or on the Dham. So So if you're following the Grand Trunk Highway, it goes from Delhi down to Agra. You know, before everybody was going on the Jamuna, and the big trucks carrying big cargoes. They coming and going. They go from Delhi down to Agra, and they keep on going all the way to Lucknow, the Grand Trunk Highway built by the British. And of course, they're passing through Vrindavan. As soon as you come to Koshi, that's that village. That's the beginning of Vrindavan. And when you get down to Agra, part of Agra is in Vrindavan. It's part of Mathura Mandala. The boundaries are established. People know where they are. Yeah. But again, it's just yeah, you're there. Yeah. It's just like somebody goes into the Italian embassy. If somebody in New York, if some man grabs a woman's purse in the street and runs away, and the ladies start running after him. If he runs into the Italian embassy or the British embassy in New York, the police have no authority. You know? That embassy is a part of England. It is a part of Italy. You know? That's the rule. Yes, if the United States says you've been acting improperly, we're at war now, we're closing your embassy, okay. But as long as it's established, it's not a part. Okay, they have their own police force, everything else. So you go inside of Vrindavan, and now everything is being controlled by Srimati Radharani. But if you want to go into the Indian embassy in New York and you demand American food rather than taking idli, vada, sambar, yeah, pera, oh yeah, okay, we'll give it to you. Continue with your work, working out business visas, and here's your American food. So you can, yeah, but you're coming in, yeah. So when the people are passing on the Grand Trunk Highway, yeah, they're according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's thing, Many of them are on Vrindavan, they're not exactly in it. So many asphalt roads covering Vrindavan now, so many places where you used to walk barefoot through the dust, you know, pathways. This is becoming covered. So that asphalt is on Vrindavan. If you look under the asphalt road, there's the dust. Okay. Yeah. And so you got to be able to penetrate. And by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, yeah, you can still move through all these developed places and still walk in the dust. You got to hop here and hop there. But you notice that somehow or other it's a little mystical that even though they paved the parikrama path around Vrindavan, yeah, still on the side of the road or hopping here and there, you can stay in the dust the whole way. That's Kali Yuga. You know, we can take advantage of these holy places by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and his process. Okay. Now the people, yeah, they're allowed. They're not ordinary people. They're smoking, eating meat. But hey, Krishna's letting them come in there, so we got to appreciate that. These are not ordinary people. Yeah. Putana and Bakasura, and I think who else? Somebody else. Um, they were all brothers and sisters. They were all born in Vrindavan. Yeah, but they're monsters. Putana, Bakasura, well, not Kalia, somebody else. Yeah, even the place where they were born. So that's it. You know, we can be yeah, on the Dom or in the Dom, but still, it's Krishna's choice. Not everybody can go into the Indian Embassy in New York. Netik Hari Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam, as you told about the top five transcendental from Radhakund, Govardhan, Vrindavan, Mathura, Vaikuntha. Somebody's microphone's open there. Okay. Yeah. Close your microphone. Then where is Goloka and Vrindavan? Is it above these five or lower than these five places? Yeah. Um, okay. Okay. It's talking about okay. Govardhan. Blah, blah, blah. Uh, there's two places. There's Gokula and Goloka. Okay. JKL. Goloka is Vrindavan. Goloka, the land of the cows, yeah, including Mathura. I would say Goloka is pretty much equivalent with Mathura Mandala, but it's focusing, on the land of the cows. And of course, the cows are not running around free in Mathura. So Mathura's kind of like a little bit like it's actually in between. Gopakumar's going higher. He goes to Vaikuntha. He goes to Ayodhya. He goes to Mathura. Then he goes to Vrindavan. Then like that. So Mathura is in between Ayodhya and Goloka, but it's all within Mathura Mandala like that. So Goloka is the spiritual world, and Gokula is what we see in the material world. KL. That's Boma Lila, earthly level, like that. Okay. Madhavan Das. Are the monkeys in Vrindavan also respectable? One description is that all the monkeys who died fighting to save Sita, to rescue Sita. These aren't little monkeys, by the way. They're vanaras. They're big gorillas and stuff and so on. But they were getting chopped up. They were fighting. They were thirsty. They were dying, and they were doing it for Ram. Okay, and Ram had nothing he could give them. So they took birth in Vrindavan. I don't know if all of them, but it probably was an option of those who died for Ram. They took birth as monkeys again in Vrindavan. And one time, Mother Yashoda is in the courtyard with baby Krishna, little Krishna, maybe 3 years old. And there he is. He's taking his yogurt that she gave him, and he's feeding it to the monkeys. And Mother Yashoda said, "What are you doing? Yeah, giving your yogurt, to these monkeys?" And then baby little Krishna says, "Oh, in my last lifetime, they did such wonderful service to me, and I was living in the forest, and I didn't have anything I could give them, and now they're coming and asking for a little bit of yogurt from me. So how can I refuse them like that?" And so Mother Yashoda is trying to figure out who is this child. My God, this crazy guy. Yeah. So yeah, some of the monkeys in Vrindavan are whatever. Krishna has a pet monkey or somebody. They have some monkeys that are associated with Radha Krishna intimately. Radha Krishna Ganadesha Deepika describes the the associates of Krishna. His monkey has two dogs. He has a peacock. You know. But some of them, yeah, they're saying that they are from Ram Lila. Prabhupada said, "Do not think that anybody in Vrindavan is ordinary." Yeah, yeah. Of course, Putana was born in Vrindavan, and she's a big demon. Okay, so she's also not ordinary, but we don't try and give her assistance. Kama Gayatri. What is the best way to beg Srimati Radharani to allow us to go to Vrindavan? Chant 16 nice rounds a day and follow the four principles strictly. Yes, that's the best way. If you plan a trip, is it that simple or is it more complex? Yeah, it's more complex. You may discover that it's not like an ordinary trip. So many wonderful things are happening, so many difficulties are happening. Yeah, and yeah, and you can't, if you force it, it'll be a superficial trip. You know? But somehow or other, Prabhupada says one does not go to Vrindavan by purchasing a railroad ticket. One has to follow the instructions of the six Goswamis. So there it is, chant Hare Krishna, chant your rounds, follow four principles. And then so many things follow from that, living in an ISKCON temple, making your home into an ISKCON ashram. And again, when you're accustomed to living at the level that Prabhupada established for our ISKCON centers, yeah, then you can go, yeah, and you stay in the Krishna Balaram temple, and you get guidance from devotees who are there, and you understand. Okay, the Brisbasis are special, and I get be very careful when I'm dealing with them, even though they may appear very strange. Yeah, okay. Madhavan, Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams. Okay. Prena Nevani. I have heard in internet that it is forbidden to wash our foot in Radhakund. So how is bathing allowed? Um, again, we talked about this to some degree. And uh, again, it says, Rupa Goswami says bathe there. Okay. So devotees were bathing there. And then they began like treating Radhakund like a public swimming pool and a place for playing ball and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, and so then Prabhupada said, "Don't bathe." You know. Then they asked him again. He said, "All right, but do it very respectfully." That's what I understand. Because, and again, as I understand, he said his Bhakti Siddhanta never took full bath in Radhakund. Maybe just sprinkling water on his head. Another thing you can do is sit there and take a lotus full of water and just pour it over your head. You know. If you've come just to wash your feet in Radhakund because you stepped in some cow dung or something, you know, all of these kundas, or brush your teeth. All over Radhakund, you'll see people in the morning going to the kundas and brushing their teeth and spitting into the kundas. All of these kundas are like charnamrita. It's just like going into the temple and looking over and seeing somebody taking the charnamrita and using it to brush their teeth and spitting into the charnamrita bowl. This is not good for the charnamrita. It's not good for them. So yeah, all of these places we okay, you take your bath and do these things, but you take the water, you go separately away from someplace, yeah, and then Krishna makes adjustments. So that's what I understand. If we're very respectful, and it's different people, some devotees, yeah, I in the beginning I was doing full immersion bath, but now I feel much more comfortable just sitting down on my gumption, pouring the water over my head. Pranam Mulani, Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for your wonderful classes on Nectar of Instruction. We we completed this book in our Bhakti Shastri course. I am truly grateful for your time, mercy, and guidance. Kindly bless me that I may always remember and practice these valuable instructions in my life. I am simply a mailman. Srila Prabhupada is Maharaj, is there any way from which we can take benefit of the bath of Radhakund sitting here in Karachi? Yeah, you can take a picture of Radhakund and sit it in front of you when you're chanting japa. You can touch your japa beads to Radhakund. Prabodhananda Saraswati uh, says that if you physically can't go there, then you should absorb yourself in hearing about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But he says, why can't you go there? Yeah, if you want to go there, yeah, then Krishna will make some transcendental arrangement. He says many times people say, oh, it's too far away, I can't go. He said, these are not real devotees. Somebody asked Tamal Krishna Maharaj, how can you afford to go to India every year? And Tamal Krishna Maharaj looked at them and said, how can you afford not to go? Yeah, it was Krishna will arrange for us. My birthday yesterday, couldn't receive your blessing, already left the class. Yesterday my battery failed right in the middle of this conversation. Okay. If it is possible, I would be very grateful to receive your blessings now. Hare Krishna. Yeah. May you live in the shadow of Radhakun. Okay. Okay, we're gonna stop here. Okay, last one. Bisham Nilam. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Okay. Sharing your experiences. So Hare Krishna Prabhu. It is 10
Hare
a.m.
Krishna
here.
Maharaj.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Maharaj. I just like
There's our
just
bloodshed.
here.
There's my lotus feet.
Very ball.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a part of the temple complex in Boise, Idaho. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Jai. Maharaj, we still have got a couple of hands up. I don't know. Are you completely out of time? I do not know that. So it's your call, Maharaj. It's a couple of hands up.
No, no,
And
yeah, yes, we have. I'm, you pay, I work. Okay. So we have 29 more
I can
minutes.
only pay. I can only pay my humble obeisances to Maharaj. By the way, Maharaj, can I ask you like a passing thought, a question? Have you noticed this trend in ISKCON of devotees trying to pay obeisances? I mean, only talking about writing, like mentioning like about obeisances, and it seems to be that there's a dichotomy if like somebody is even offering obeisances to a spiritual master. And as far as I know, I have never seen any Prabhupada's letter, like disciples writing or Vyasa Puja offerings, Prabhupada's disciples writing to Prabhupada and offering anything less than Dandavat Pranams.
Uh, I mean, well,
Have you noticed this thing, Maharaj?
no, as for example, devotees who are coming into Prabhupada's room, servants, secretaries, other people, when they would come in, they would go down on their knees and touch their heads, and they wouldn't do Dandavat Pranam like that. Yeah. And for example, if Prabhupada was with a darshan with very respectable people, some ministers of parliament, then also they would do that. They wouldn't do Dandavats, pranams, and so on. One devotee noticed that when Tamal Krishna Maharaj was coming in, he would do Dandavat pranams, every time. Yeah. Another time there was Prabhupada was coming out and there was this, we went to the taxi cab or something, and this water was going everywhere. And devotees, maybe you know this, they were doing Dandavat pranams, and Prabhupada was saying, "Who are these idiots?" or something, Yeah, yeah, that, paying your obeisances in the water. So, again, ladies are not doing Dandavat pranams. So I think it's, I think it's kind of some ways. I think it's time, place, and circumstances. Certain situations that people don't understand. In the beginning, Prabhupada asked, "What should be our relationships to our parents now that we're devotees?" Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada said, "Oh, when you see your parents, you should offer Dandavat pranams to your parents." That lasted for about maybe 2 weeks or something, 3 weeks, and then Prabhupada said, "All right, in America, people will totally misunderstand this. Don't do it." Yeah, 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 yeah. So time,
Yes, Maharaj,
place.
I do understand. Yes, Maharaj, I do understand the time, place, circumstance. But what is the general principle? Considering, say, for example, I understand the fact that you are in Vrindavan Krishna Balram temple. There are like 5,000 people there. There's hardly
Yeah,
place to stand. What to speak of offering a pranam? I understand that.
yeah, yeah.
But like, what I'm asking like here is, if that kind of there is a practice circumstance and there is a room for like excuses, so basically of not being as respectful as one is supposed to be when in practicing sadhana bhakti. Of course, like somebody in bhava bhakti, it's a very different thing. What are the standards of a sadhana bhakta? Like, because we are discussing here NOI, and it says dikshati bhis pranti bhischa bhajantam isham in verse number 5.
Uh-huh.
Krishneti yasya kirtama manasa adriyetat. So then, what like my observation is coming that like if leave it to everybody, then obviously those who are not committed devotees, so they can do whatever they want to do because they don't have a goal in life. So, but if we have
So
a goal in life, price, we don't want to pay the price, and what is the price then?
again, boy, if Prabhupada is physically present before you this afternoon, okay, what are you going to do? Yeah, most
Offer
likely.
obeisances without any question. Full
I know, I
obeisances.
know. Yeah. But what about his morty in the temple? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Same thing.
If your office is on the opposite side of the temple, and you have to go through the temple 25 times a day, okay, so then maybe you'll do full dandavats during Guru Puja or something like that, and then maybe that's one thing I had to do one time. So then I would just bow down like the servants who were coming in and out of Prabhupada's rooms. Then I would do that, and Prabhupada was comfortable. But again, different people. Tamal Krishna Maharaj had a very different relation. He had a very specific relationship with Prabhupada. And so he was, at least at that time, the devotee noticed he was doing Dandavat pranams. Yeah. And again, when the curtains open, sometimes people just in the middle of the Bhagavatam class, people stop and pay their obeisances. And then Vipra Mukha Maharaj said that Prabhupada said that is not necessary. He said that the class is going on, simply folding your hands and touching your head is enough. Yeah. So very fine thing. At least, as a dayam stuvam tashaya sastri sandam. Okay, at least 3 times a day, full dandavats to Prabhupada. And then in different other times, again, there's time and circumstance, I would say, depending on the devotee. Yeah, yeah. So then
Thank you, Maharaj. Very satisfying.
Netik has hand up. Uh,
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances unto your lotus feet. Actually, Maharaj, throughout the whole unit, I did not got the chance to speak like face to face with you.
Ah,
This time I thought that in the last class, I can talk like like I want your blessings, Maharaj.
face to face. Oh, one disciple of what's his name? Gorgovinda Maharaj. One disciple said, "Oh Maharaj," it was a girl. She said, "Oh Maharaj, I want to get Krishna," asking for benedictions. And he said, "Oh, you want to get Krishna, Baba? You're going to suffer, Baba, long time, Baba." So, are you sure you want a benediction? Yeah, if you get a benediction, okay, yeah. No, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. May you go ahead and progress in devotional service very nicely, so you can find your place in Lord Chaitanya's movement, whatever it is. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Then we have Praina Mulani. Wow.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, take my humble obeisance into your lotus feet.
Oh my God. Okay, Hare Krishna.
I'm very thankful for your blessings which you gave me today, and thank you so much for your precious time to give that much knowledge about NOI, Nectar of
Hmm.
Instruction. Thank you so much.
No, for me, it's been very, very nice. It's been very intense, a very nice experience. A lot of hard work, but very nice because very nice audience. You have a very nice yatra. I'm sure there are problems there. I'm sure, yeah. But hey, you got a nice yatra, and so go ahead and do something, wonderful, wonderful. Pakistan should lead the world.
Yeah.
Chai, Om Tat Sat.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you, Maharaj.
Our
In
Muslim
Pakistan,
and
they
Hindu,
say Inshallah.
all of our Muslim and Hindu brothers dancing together in ecstasy. Yeah. Do you know what Muslim kirtan is? There is kirtan in Muslim tradition. Don't you know? Dhikr. It's called dhikr. Yeah. And it's exactly
Yeah.
that. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. Uh, I knew one guy who was a Sufi, the person, And if he had come in contact with Prabhupada before he came in contact with one Sufi Baba, he would have become an ISKCON devotee and he would have become a GBC secretary, everything else. But he was very nice because he was totally dedicated to Sufi tradition, and he was seeing that that this is two different ways up the same mountain. He was saying two different ways up the same mountain, and if you're actually going up the mountain, he said, then the difference becomes less and less, and until finally you meet at the top, and you can share, all three of you can have a cup of coffee with Allah, with Allah. Okay, that's the ultimate perfection for the Arab, is to have coffee with God. Yeah, share a cup of coffee. Yes, I guess decaf. Okay, so thank you all very much, and somehow or other, if you send your magic carpet, we'll go to Pakistan.
Maharaj,
You
we
guys-
highly,
yeah,
highly, appreciate if you even consider coming to Pakistan. Maharaj, it is a very different country. Much has been spoken about it, but it's all, I would say, it's just that the country has got a very bad publicity. I've been
yeah.
there, so I can tell you for sure, Maharaj, you will find it like a second home, just like India.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
telling you, Maharaj, I've been there. So I've been
yeah.
there. So
No,
so
I know
I'm
devotees. I know. One devotee, a Mogalila. His father was a
yeah,
Christian. You know him. You know him.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So I've heard so much about the environment there. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's very good if coming to like like when coming to places like Karachi. I mean, up north in Pakistan, that is not so friendly for us. But
yeah,
like down south, yeah, down
yeah,
south,
yeah.
it's very good. If you
Wow.
if you plan to come, Maharaj, it will be, I can tell you that it will be an unforgettable
Oh
experience for
my
you.
God.
Please do
Yeah.
come, Maharaj. I'm like, yeah, I'm enticing you.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
enticing you.
Thank
I'm
you.
tempting you.
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
We
Hare
thank you,
Krishna.
Maharaj,
Hare
for your
Krishna, Maharaj.
kind
Hare Krishna
presence, and
Maharaj. Dandavat pranam.
Maharaj is
Hare
gone.
Krishna Maharaj. Dandavat pranam.
He has left. Thank you. So he
Hare
has left,
Krishna
and
Prabhu.
you guys are, Hare Krishna. He has left, and you guys are left with the Saturday examination. Okay. There might be a few devotees who have certain challenges, so we can try to resolve for them. Okay. Sunday being the bigger obstacle, in that, not an obstacle for the exams. It's an opportunity. It's not an obstacle. The opportunity is Sunday. There is Rath Yatra. So now you choose between these two. Like, would you like to have an exam during Rath Yatra, or you will have the exam on Ekadashi? Okay. So it's just like a devil and the deep sea. So it's one day it's Ekadashi, another it's Yatra Yatra. So and you let us know like where, like we are like going with the Saturday ones, because we found that it's like the lesser of that, and a couple of devotees who might feel that okay, they still can need like on Sunday, so we might try to have that on Sunday morning, because again evening it is Rath Yatra. So then tell us how can we do that? Okay. So Damni Mataji is around, I believe so. If she's not there, so then, but yeah, I mean she should be taking care of that. We already had a discussion. Okay. Thank you. And from next week we will be having Nectar of Devotion with her guest Anand Leela Mataji. Okay. That's another opportunity, I would say, not to miss. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hi.
Hare Krishna.